What's up, guys? Welcome to 31 Vision Podcast. I'm happy to say that we're back. It's crazy we were talking about it offset. It's been like 8 months, 9 months since we've done an episode. You know, life happens sometimes, but we're back. We're back here, and I'm super excited with our guest. Hot Rod, why don't you introduce yourself?
Name's Hot Rod from Miami, Florida. I grew up in Chocolate City, down in Goulds. I'm from South Miami Heights, what they call the square across the street from Miami Southridge.
Nice. Is that the high school you went to?
Yes.
Nice. I was that. When I was in high school, Southridge was really good. I don't know if they still are.
Yeah, they're still good.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. What class were you?
So I'm class of 2011,
Okay.
but I did a gray shirt
Okay.
to going into college, which reclassified me as 2012.
Okay.
I went to Louisville.
So those are the people I don't know that might be in high school or middle school. What's the difference between like a gray shirt and a red shirt when you go to college and stuff like that?
When you gray shirt, basically, I wasn't cleared through clearinghouse to play football, so I had to go to a prep school to retake like the SAT, the ACT, whichever one I felt comfortable that I could get a better score at.
Okay.
And it's basically just an extra year of high school football, really.
Gotcha. I actually went to a prep school and ended up being a scam in Virginia. We came out on the news and everything, and I wasted a semester of college.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's a story for another day. So when did you start playing sports, bro?
I started playing sports in probably the year 2000 was my first year officially.
Okay.
I grew up. I played sports street ball.
Okay.
I became really good at street ball. Like all of my neighborhood homeboys, my uncle's friends, and my cousins' older friends, they used to be the all-time quarterbacks, and they used to throw us the ball. We used to play 7-on-7.
Yeah.
And my auntie, one of my aunties, her name is Gaitha Johnson. She just happened to sit out and watch me one time, and she was like, "Man, he's balling." I used to play with the older kids, and I was excelling. So she was like,
It's awesome.
"I got to put him in the football."
I'm sure. Put some pads on that guy. So it's funny you bring up street ball. So in middle school, like I told you offset, I was like, bro, my mom wouldn't let me play tackle. She just wouldn't let me. You know what I'm saying? It's a typical Hispanic mom. Go play baseball. I'm like, I don't want to play baseball. You know? So in middle school, I would bring another set of clothes, and before school, we played tackle. No pads, just like whatever masses we had that day, split it in half. Sometimes it's 7-on-7 or 5-on-5 because nobody wanted to play. Sometimes it's like 20-on-20. It's like a war.
No,
and it's like everyone's just pitching the ball back or throw it, whatever. And yeah, man, and that really created my love for football. Like that's where it started for me too. I'm like, man, tackling's fun. Getting all dirty before school.
Yeah, I loved it. I pretty much was bigger than most of the kids my age. So
Shocker.
So it's pretty much, it kind of was easy for me.
Yeah.
When it comes to tackling without pads on. That's what made me really love the game.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. So where did you play youth football?
Youth football, I played all around, honestly. Yeah. I never stuck with one part.
Okay.
My first year, I played for Richmond Giants.
Okay.
That was like in 2000. We went and we won it all. Like my first year playing football, but I started out playing offensive line, defensive line.
Me too.
Played tackle and defense end.
Yeah.
I was like, if I was not the fastest, I was the second fastest. I know I had a kid on my team. He excelled from an early age. He was playing running back. He knew everything. His name Richard Leonard. He played at FIU.
Oh, nice.
And he went to play in the CFL as well. And me and him together, like we used to compete all the time. We used to race.
That's awesome. So with youth football, how do you feel about it now compared to when you used to play? Like, is it different? You know, like what's your perspective on youth football now?
It's bigger. It's way bigger.
Way more attention on it, cameras.
It wasn't so many leagues. It was I only knew Pop Warner.
Same.
Never knew all of the different leagues.
I knew about Extreme, but back then it was so little.
It was Extreme. That was the only other league.
Yeah, because I was in Pop Warner, but I didn't even know Extreme existed, and then they were real early on, and now Extreme.
Yeah, once I got older, I started figuring
Mm-hmm.
out about Extreme, but as a little kid,
Yeah.
like it was all I knew was Pop Warner. Okay, I'm finna play the local neighborhoods,
Right.
And
it's bragging
we're
rights,
gonna
bro.
get after it.
Yeah, it's bragging rights, bro. Conquer Miami, you know.
Conquer the down south. Then we know, obviously, we go up and we play against like Liberty City, Gwen Cherry, and those teams like that. But for the most part, as a little kid, it's like, man, I want to play against Palmetto, Richmond.
Yeah.
It was South Kendall. It was like those, Florida City.
Yeah, man, it was bragging rights, bro. Youth football, I always say this. Youth football is when the game is at its purest, in my opinion. You know, because once you get to high school, college, pros, whatever, like the higher up you go, the more business it is, and it's like there's other things into consideration and factors. It's not just about football, you know.
Right.
But even in youth football nowadays, it's getting a little grimy down there.
No, most definitely, man. The way it's evolved, honestly, especially with being introduced to like sports betting and gambling, and how big that's become.
Yeah.
And like in our world.
Yeah.
It's like they take it to the next level even with the little kids. So
people don't know that don't play football or a parent that has a kid in football. People put money down on youth games.
Yes.
Especially now the playoffs are started.
Yes.
People put down bread, bro. Like
definitely.
So like if you've ever been to a youth football game, especially like when it's good parks, there's cops there. There's security at a youth football game. It's not like this little soccer game at a I don't know, but people put down money. People, you know, like things happen, bro, because money gets involved, you know. And so if you're not in that world, you wouldn't even know that, you know. I told my mom that. She's like, "What?" You know, so it's crazy. But do you think the NIL kind of started that, or it's always been a thing from the beginning? You know, like gambling in sports.
It's all honestly the betting on the sports. It's always been there, but it just hasn't. It wasn't so big. Like you'll see it against like. With those really good teams and in the kind of the grimier areas, they've done it. Like when you seen fights and stuff break out on parks, and like, oh well, they like to shoot at their park. Yeah, they're gambling.
Yeah,
it's intense. It's a lot of money out there that's on the line that people losing,
and then the people, sometimes people that have money on the line, they'll pay the players like, hey, if you injure that player. Like you take them out, I'm gonna give you $100, you know. And for a little kid, $100, you know how many Big Macs that is? You know how many Whoppers that is? I'm eating good, you know.
Facts.
So they
used to get paid for touchdowns, anything,
stats,
interceptions, all stats,
you know. And so with that,
hits,
I think we're in a specific like transition. With football, like I think this is the first time because we've seen sports documentaries about SMU, Johnny Football, like all kinds, Reggie Bush, like all kinds of stuff where people were getting paid, Cam Newton, like people are getting paid under the table, but now it's open.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's never happened before in college football. Like the NCAA is loosening their grip a little bit of the money that's coming in, and the guys can get paid since high school now.
But see, what it is they understand it's extra revenue. With the NILs and then the kids get paid now. Like before doing it's like you can't stop it.
Yeah, it's one way or another.
It's either you allow it or it goes under the table.
Right, and it's never gonna stop happening.
So with being paid now, it's a way for them to benefit off of it. Yeah. So like, unfortunately, I was able to miss all those waves. I wish I was in college when the NIL deal started.
I've told plenty of football friends of ours, I'm like, I wish I was born later, man.
Facts,
like I wish Huddle would have been around since I was in youth. You know, just little things like that. NIL, sign me up.
Right.
You know, middle school football is getting bigger. Like there's like a lot of things. Like there's more leagues. Like I don't know, man. I feel like the love for football is expanding because the money's following it, and
definitely.
Even in flag football, like everything's just football is just very.
Flag football is going to be really big.
Yeah, like, man.
Even with what you guys did, congrats on winning.
Oh, thank you, bro.
USA.
Appreciate you.
Like flag football, like look at they're creating scholarships for this now. Like, even women flag football has become so big for women that like it's amazing. Like they're actually starting to it's creating more coaching jobs.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. It's a blessing to be able to play the sport and now being able to go back and also coach it.
They draw bigger crowds than we do.
They do.
They draw they get way more love, way more fans. Like, bro, it's electric. Like, to see the girls' games, it's really cool, bro. Like, all the countries travel. Like, they have, it's not just family. Like, they bring people. Like, they come squatted.
Yeah.
Mexico comes squatted. You know, like, yo, it's wild. Like, it's really cool. Like, the love of the game expanding like that. So, all right. So you're finishing youth football. Going to like middle school, high school, did you have a specific school you wanted to go to? Did you want to go with like your friends from youth football, or just depending on where you lived?
So in middle school, it was more of a. So my favorite sport was basketball. So
okay, you're a hooper.
I was a hooper.
Okay, so, I know Willie can hoop too. So you guys were always going at it.
Yeah. My main thing was basketball. I focused more so on basketball. Okay. I started out playing basketball before I started playing football.
Okay.
I just excelled at football, and obviously because of attributes wise and height wise, football was a better choice. So, like, knowing for my future, I took football more seriously, and I kind of like it grew on me. So like now it's neck and neck, but I still love basketball.
Okay.
But so with middle school, they didn't have a football team when I was growing up. We didn't have middle school football. I still was playing Pop Warner.
Okay.
So it was always based on what basketball team was good. So for me, my 6th grade, I went to Color Ridge Elementary. Middle. I was there for 1 year, and then I transferred to Redland. I went to Redland Middle for my 7th and 8th grade, and we were a pretty good basketball team. They had a nice little basketball team, and that's where all my friends went to school.
Gotcha. Okay. So going into high school, 'cause I know some people base going what high school to go to based off of the bonds you form in youth football. Me personally, I just went where my mom told me to go, and I didn't really have much of a say in it. But I know some people, because they start youth football since they're so young, they try to keep teams together sometimes. Was that your case, or you just went wherever?
Nah, it wasn't my case. So initially, what a lot of people don't know, I went to Southridge to play basketball. I was in the 8th grade playing on the summer league basketball team with the varsity.
Yes, you were nice.
Right. Like those guys, like they had some decent guys. Like I'm talking about first time seeing people 6'6". You're like dunking, standing under the goal. Like, whoa.
You're like, what?
I'm gonna be a 3-point shooter.
I'm not going in there.
Not going there. But now it's like basketball was pretty much my main focus at the time. And I'm like, okay, well, Southridge has a really good basketball team. So that's where I wanted to go to school at first. And then just talking with my family and understanding my future and what would be the best for me. My uncles, they went to Homestead. And
that was a good school too.
Yeah, they were really good in football at the time. They had A.J. Guyton and all those guys that were there. Coach Bobby McCray was the head coach. He actually was a father figure for my uncle.
Okay.
Both of my uncles. They went to school there. He took care of them. They ended up going off to college. They were the ones who made me go to Homestead instead of Southridge. I wanted to go to Southridge because I wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
But they made me go to Homestead at first. So with that, I knew a lot of the people there. I mean, I was well known around in like the neighborhood, so I knew there was a lot of familiar faces.
I mean, think about it, bro. Like Southridge, Homestead, Southridge, those are good football schools.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like, pick of the litter. You know, because I went to South Miami, and we were in a transition with coaching, so we had a really good coach, and we had some teams that like won districts or were challenging to run districts, but we couldn't really push into playoffs because the first round would be Northwestern, and back then, like, I graduated 2010, Northwestern was really good, or like we would play a really good school from down south, and we just never had an O-line or D-line or whatever. Anyway, so we were 6A, And this was before, I think, 8A came around. Like 6A was the biggest. So we would play against, like, first game of the season, Lamar Miller, Killian. and then we'll play Jamal Berry, Palmetto.
Yep,
and then we'll play Gore from Columbus. And then we'll play, what's his, from Gables. They had a really good running back. And Denzel Perriman was on the other side. And then this guy, Bush, I think, was at safety for Columbus, too. He went to, like, the Bears and UM, I think. And then we're missing players. We're missing players. There's other good players from that district. So it was cool to play against, like, the best of the area. It was just, I wish I would have had a little more of a say-so in what high school I can go to, because I think I would have probably gone more south. Right. And I don't know if I would have started, because they were loaded teams with D1 players, but that's a measuring stick.
At the same time, being on those teams where another thing about it is being on a team where scouts love to go and recruit from. So
listen to that, guys. Notepads.
You want to be on a team where the recruiting it's like consistent. Like, you see scouts coming in and out, because if they come into your practice and they come and say they're coming to see you, and they know, hey, man, I know I play with Lulu. Yeah. He played for Team USA. And I play flag football with him. They come to watch you play your game. Guess what?
You're on the same field.
I'm the corner that you play with. Yep. So I go out there and catch 3 interceptions. They're gonna be like, man, who's that?
Who's that guy?
Yeah. No, let me take notes. Let me see. Let me figure out who he is, what he does, how good he is.
So it's funny we're talking about this, because I just had a conversation recently with a client's parent, right? And we were talking about how he's at a really good park, place for PPO up north, and that's a good park, you know?
Right.
So he went from extreme at one park that was, whatever. Like, he was the stud. He was the guy, big fish, small pond kind of thing.
Right.
And then he went over there. He's not starting. He's getting rotated. He's bouncing around from positions. I'm like, listen, but every time I train this kid, he's catching better. He's running better routes. He's doing so. The practice,
the level of competition you're going against every day,
that matters, bro.
Iron sharpen iron.
Like, because even though, like, I worked really hard in high school, bro, and we went at it sometimes. I had teammates that wanted to take reps off or do this and that. Like, I was smacking shit. Like, do not relax with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But because it was more intense in Pop Warner, believe it or not. In high school, it was like some people. It was mixed. Once that senior class left from 08, when we were the juniors and seniors were the ones that were around, it was a different coaches, different atmosphere. I didn't like it. Like, I would have left after my sophomore year if I had to say so in it, for sure. Because once those seniors, like 20-something seniors left, no leadership.
That's what I was about to say. That's the leadership. That's the like your what's the word I'm looking for? But like,
it's like the practice culture, like the
exactly like you got to have a group of guys with you that want to be great. That want to excel. That's not gonna let you take those plays off. That's gonna push you every day. Like you said, like, don't take plays off of me, because I'm gonna hit you.
Yeah.
So guess what? When I'm running my route, I know, okay, yeah, Lulu right there. Let me go for real.
And even my best friends, I'll whack them too. Like, it doesn't matter who you are.
Trust me, I already know. Like,
and we love each other off the field
every day in practice. Like, my best friend and all, they wanted to play offense. I'm like, man.
Okay.
If all us play offense, we're not going to get a good look on defense. So let me go to defense. I'm going to go to defense, let y'all play offense.
Yeah.
Now y'all balling because you got the freshmen on defense with me. Now you hold up. Let me smack you real quick. Like, but it makes everybody better, because at the same time, I get to coach the freshmen while I'm out there, and then they get a good look at somebody who's going hard at them at every single play.
Yeah, I think going back to what we were talking about with youth football, I think parents need to take a better look at practice, the schedule, and the organization of it. If you see a lot of standing around, that's not a good practice. It's not a good practice. A lot of the minutes, kind of like when you go to a camp, guys, and you go to a random camp and you pay to go, and it's very scheduled, very like, practice should be like that too. When you go to college, like I know Columbus does this. I'm sure other high schools do too. They're like college, where all the individual period, team period, whatever, 7-on-7, stretch time, scheduled. Time is money, So if you're at a youth football park and they're doing that, that's a great sign. But if you're at a park where you don't feel like your kid's getting better, and I'm not saying that your kid can't be the best player on the team, but take a better look at the competition around, you know, like take it with a grain of salt if he's surrounded by scrubs. You know what I mean?
Right. No, most definitely. That's a lot of what's going on now in youth football, because people aren't the game is evolving from actually coaching.
Yep.
People are so big on sports betting that you want to take, okay, well, Lulu's good, High Rod's good. Let me go get them.
Right.
I'm gonna put everybody on my team, and guess what? I don't got to coach that.
Run left, run right.
It's like I don't have to coach that. Now I put them on defense. Hey man, y'all just run cover 3. Run cover 3 the whole game. I know. Just don't get beat deep.
That's it.
I know y'all gonna go out there. You gonna they run the ball. I know y'all gonna pull up and smack some. I know y'all go. They throw the ball. I know y'all gonna go and get. Like, you're not coaching me on nothing else.
Yep.
You just let me go out there and I'm just being me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So and that's what the game is changing from. Like, the people don't understand, these kids, these are little kids. They're learning the game still. Like, even your best player on your team, I can go out there and I could teach him a million things.
Right. They're very raw.
Just because he's fast, he knows how to run routes. But guess what? He don't know how the proper techniques, how you really beat a jam, how do you stop a person from stacking.
Yeah, the craft. There's so many things. It's so endless. No, you're hitting, bro. You're speaking facts. Like, there's a lot of coaches that they use youth football or high school football as a stepping stone to, because they have a career too. It's not playing, but it's still a career. True. So they're trying to succeed as quickly as possible, and a lot of parents need to be able to identify. It's hard for the ones that didn't play, but identify between a coach that really wants to develop your son or daughter versus a coach that just wants to skip out and succeed right now and not really teach much.
Yeah,
you know,
they for them. If you build that superstar team, guess what? I'm building that team because I want a good record.
Yeah,
my record reflects.
Yeah,
in the eyes of people who don't know football, my record reflects my coaching. In a sense, so they be like, oh well, he win the championship every year. That's a good coach.
Right. Questions you guys should ask. Yeah, questions you guys should ask about coaches like that is like what park are they at? What league is it? You know, see the parks that league is in if you're not familiar with it, and kind of see, like, or go to a game. You know what I'm saying? And like this year, I was very curious because I always go watch my clients play, to kind of get a good look for myself. And the leagues are a lot more even, you know, than people think. So one league shits on the other one, and you know, this was better. So I'm looking at all of them, and I wish they would just all be in one big league, man, because there's great athletes in all of them, but they're all sprinkled out, spread out. Like, I wish it would just be like just one, just chaos, you know?
Right. So like with these new leagues, like for example, the AYFL, it's become one of the biggest leagues.
Yeah.
Like every team, every park is kind of migrated there.
Yeah.
Part one has kind of died off.
For sure.
The extreme is,
that's more like a cupcake.
It's like it's not. It hasn't died off, but it's like it's not looked at as a good league to play here. Right. And I've coached there. That was actually my first year coaching. It was in 2021. Like, my little brother he finally got a chance to play football, so I was able to go out there at Cannonball.
Nice. Okay, yeah. I knew some coaches from Cannonball last year. Nice.
Yeah, so my coaches from the league were that it's Coach Cannon. Okay. His son was on my team, and his older son was one of the coaches. Okay. And so like his older son now, he pretty much runs Cannonball. Okay. But they're both still there. Like those are coaches who, after my first year, I played a couple of years with them, and we just built the bond, the relationship that's for a lifetime. Awesome, man. Yeah, like I think for some kids too, where parents need to see the value in sports, is sometimes for these kids, like it happened with me. Like, I had father figures in my life through coaches, you know, they kind of steered me in the right direction when I was being very uncontrollable and like being a hothead, and especially when I got to like high school, when I got to like 15-ish. I didn't know at the time, obviously, but I had textbook daddy issues. Like, if you open a book and you read, you know, like what that kind of looks like, I had that textbook. And I had coaches like showing me prayers and showing me like, look, when you get like this, do this. And, you know, like when my mom wasn't around, they kind of picked up the slack a little bit because she was working a lot.
So I think it's really cool that athletes out there get great guidance from coaches. Well, the ones that have good intentions, obviously.
Right.
You know, so I think that's a big part of it. In high school, was that the same case for you? Did you like your coaches in high school?
It pretty much, even to backtrack back to a little league. So my auntie, she introduced it to me. I excelled. The coach, he loved me. Then the other teams, their coaches took note of it. So guess what? After this year, man, we got to go get that kid, put him on our team. So that's kind of how I felt wherever the love came from, whoever was pretty much sports. So in a sense, it wasn't an NIL deal, but I never had to play football, pay for football. Right. So it's like, okay, don't worry about it. Just bring them. We'll take care of everything else.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how, because I grew up in a single mother household, so paying for football wasn't an option. Like that, it was never an option.
Yeah.
My auntie introduced it to me as a child. The coaches from other teams pretty much kept it alive.
Yeah.
Like they made sure that everything was taken care of. So that's wherever they're gonna pay, that's where I'm gonna play.
Yeah, the saying that it takes a village. Yeah, that's the truth, man. It really takes a village to help a kid grow up. You know.
That's right. So fast forward into high school, pretty much like I was saying, I was supposed to go to Southridge. I went to Homestead because my coaches, well, the head coach was a father figure for my uncle.
Yeah.
So he pretty much raised them, and they wanted me to get that guidance from him. His oldest son also played in the NFL.
Nice.
So being able to have that knowledge and that they have that background and the wisdom to pass down to me, I accepted it. It was like I was already a bigger kid as well, so it was a good look for him too. So
yeah.
Then on top of that, we had a guy named Marcus Robinson. He was a U.S. Army All-American.
Nice.
And the scouts was rolling in. Like everybody was coming in. Even Pete Carroll came down.
Pete Carroll.
The
USC, right? Yeah, I'm about to say.
To see him.
And back then, USC was like top
dogs. They was top dogs.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, man, I want you to come out of class and come to the weight room. Nick Saban, I believe Nick Saban came down to see him as well. It was like, I want you. It was me and another kid named Antoine Eddy. He played safety. We were freshmen. We could bench press 225 already.
Damn. So I was barely trying to crack a plate. I was like, I can't wait to do 135, and you're over here at 225. Yeah.
So he was like, man, I want y'all to come in here and work and work out. You feel me? Yeah. So me and him like, okay, well, come on, let's go max. We go in there and we got the bench press down. They walking out the office. He already done set it up. He seen once we started bench pressing, they come out of the office, they see us like, man, like, oh, these my guys. They're only freshmen. So it's like having that bond with the coach. Like he didn't do that for everybody. He only told us. He didn't tell the whole team to come.
Right.
Like obviously, you don't want to keep skipping class or whatever.
Right. Right.
But this for your future.
Yeah, those are opportune moments.
Right. So, like to have that bond with the coach, it means everything, and it pretty much built my recruiting process.
Nice.
So like those scouts, they seen me, and that's how my recruiting started.
You know how my coach bond was? He's telling me I'm not gonna amount to anything while we do W drills. Oh, shit. And then he's telling me, because I would leave sometimes. Like there was practice on the weekend sometimes, and when I really burned the bridge was, I went to go play in a flag football money tournament instead of going to a tackle practice. He already looked down on flag as it is, but I didn't have any money, so I didn't want some money. So I went to play. We won, got a little bit of money in my pocket, but he kind of saw it as like I tried him. And then after that, the relationship really went down the drain. And like in my senior year, I was only allowed to play like 6 games. Like he benched me for the first 4. Like I was a senior. Like, bro, come on. Like, I was already ineligible junior year.
Oh man.
And I'm like, I'm trying to play.
Losing all the opportunities, right?
Yeah, bro. And then the only reason why I went to a camp called D1 camp, it was like by Nova or it was north of us, whatever. It's because the JV coach, I was really cool with, Coach Jackson. Shout out to Coach Jackson. He grabbed the letter from his office and gave it to me. That's the only letter I ever got. That's the only thing I ever received, and it just sucks to, like, the difference between someone looking out for you versus someone that doesn't care about you. So since my situation was like that, I'm jealous of the high school athletes that can just bounce, because I think that holds coaches accountable too. I think coaches have to be a little more accountable, because they're like, yo, if I treat them bad, they're gonna leave.
They're gonna leave. So it ain't even about treating them bad. If something not going their way, if they don't feel like you might give them the ball 10 times a game, they might want it 20. I'm out.
Right.
And I can go because it's no restrictions. So that plays a part as well. So, like, even talking about that, I had to transfer because a lot of people who know me know I have a twin sister. So, and at Homestead, there was a big thing with, like, rivalries and gangs and stuff. Like, it was really big. Like, you got the football team don't like the Haitians, or the Haitians want to fight the Jamaicans, and it's a whole lot of beef. Like, the cheerleaders didn't like whoever, like the girls, the Haitian girls, or something. Like, it was a lot of beef out there. So it was a lot of riots.
Yeah.
Like, it was real out there. Yeah. So when something happened, and then my sister got into a fight or whatever, and then they wanted to kick her out. Everybody know me and my sister, we here.
Yeah.
Like, it's no one without the other.
Right.
We not going nowhere. Like, my first week in school, a dude said something crazy, like, about how, like, sexually about my sister. We got into a fight. It was my teammate. I don't care.
Yeah, it's your sister. What do you mean?
Feel me? Like, this is my first week there.
Set the tone, baby.
Set the tone early. Let you know. A big guy too. He played offensive line and defensive line. Like, I came in there like 175.
That's what I weigh now. Hey, if I would have been in a high school situation, I'd be like, "What's up, bro? I'm 135, soaking wet. What's up?"
Nah, but
that's awesome though. That's awesome. You were like that for your sister.
So they gave her an ultimatum. Like, it's either you can stay and you get expelled, or you can just leave and we don't press charges. So
no brainer.
If she got to leave, I'm sorry, coach.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, at that time, our football team wasn't that good.
That's surprising. Okay.
We went, like 2-8,
That's
something
surprising.
like that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Like, we lost to Coral Reef.
Really?
5-3.
No.
Yeah. Like, we had a soccer score.
Wow.
And Coral Reef was terrible that year. Like, it was bad. But we lost off a little technicality, like inverted whistle, when we actually scored a touchdown. Yeah, we blocked the field goal, and the fastest kid on our team picked the ball up, and he was running it back, and the referee blew the whistle.
What?
Not understanding that the play's still live, and it kind of cost us the game. So,
wow.
But at the same time, we went on to beat Palmetto, and
Palmetto was good,
and they had Jamal Berry, and,
right.
And that was the best team at the time. We beat them and lost to Coral Reef.
Yeah. Oh, I hear that. And then we and my buddy too. He played in South Miami, but then he transferred to Palmetto. He ended up going to Kansas State. He did pretty good. So Palmetto was good back then. They had some players.
Really good.
I remember Jamal Berry was like on the cover of a magazine.
Yeah, he was.
And then he got in trouble when he went to college, I think, or something. I hate hearing stories like that, but Lamar Miller ended up having the better career out of it too.
Facts.
So, talking about the recruiting thing in high school. So, when did that become a reality for you? Like off rip from freshman, you knew, like,
freshman year, I wasn't really getting looked at, but like by my sophomore year, I still was at Homestead. This one right before it happened with my sister. I was starting to get letters. Okay. So I started to get letters, and then camps was going. Like, we used to host camps. Back then they used to have Spark.
I remember Spark. Yeah.
Spark camps. I used to go to those. Little camps like used to have camps.
So for the kids or like younger viewers, I don't know, what do they do at the camps? Like what?
So at those camps with Spark, they do the 40, L drill, shuttle, broad jump, vertical.
Okay.
Pretty much NFL combine drill stuff. Okay. W drill, like little stuff like that.
Okay.
Everything you see in the NFL combine is what they was doing for Spark.
Gotcha.
And as far from that,
you transitioned to what, Southridge?
I transitioned to Southridge.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of met another father figure as a coach. His name Coach Ernie McPhee. And we still cool to this day. Like
awesome.
He really took care of me, like even if it was from about to get in trouble to if I needed money, anything, like he was always there for me. Like,
that's awesome.
And he's still here to this day. So shout out to him.
Awesome, bro. So with so what was the situation at the time with Southridge? Were they very good? So you were
transitioning? Southridge, we beat Southridge the year before I came there.
Oh,
my sophomore year.
You had bragging rights.
I got bragging rights walking in. But it was kind of like, it's one of those situations where, like Colorado. So you bring in, like, we got a new head coach.
Here comes an army.
Here comes all the he tried to bring his team, his players. We get a whole bunch of kids from everywhere, from all the best teams, and we all ended up at Southridge, and we all like, man. Then NCAA wasn't having, not NCAA, but high school wasn't having that. The running back actually transferred in before the coach even got the job, and they deemed him ineligible to play if he stayed.
Were you guys that loaded that somebody was like, nah, we can't have this? Really?
Facts.
So someone like a school snitched on you.
We had two guys that were forced to transfer to keep their eligibility. And the running back, so my coach was Patrick Burrows. He came from Southwest. At the time, Southwest had a running back. And
I remember LaMarcus Joyner went to Southwest.
LaMarcus Joyner was there too.
Yeah,
he was at Southwest. That was one of his players. He talked about him highly. Like when he met me, like that's all he compared me to.
Yeah.
Like he always talked about him. He even took us to Florida State to even go watch him.
Nice.
So from there, we had their top running back. He came in. They forced him to go to Killian.
Well, who was that? You remember the name or no? Because Killian has some good
I remember his
name
right now. I don't know why the tip of my tongue can't get it out.
Because I remember Killian.
We still cool. He ended up going to Cincinnati.
Oh, nice. I remember Killian having a few running backs.
What's his name?
That's fine. I'll come back to you. But yeah, so what did the team end up with? Like besides those two transfers?
So we had the kid's name is, we call him Bubba.
Okay.
His name Jermaine Kelson. He the head coach at I forgot which high school right now, but he went to Marshall.
Nice.
He was our quarterback. He scrambled all over the place. He like Kyler Murray.
Oh, nice.
But
super hard to tackle.
Yeah, he was one of those guys. We had LaVon Wiggum. His name, we call him Lil Man. He ended up going to. He's committed to Texas Tech. Him and Philip Warren. They were like two athletic guys. They both committed to Texas Tech. They were DBs. They one transitioned to running back. Our offensive line, we had two twins, the McCray twins. One of them still in the league now.
Nice.
Then we had a linebacker that went to Ole Miss. His name Ralph.
Nice.
Like we were loaded. I think
we had
about
him. We probably have a mutual friend like him because he went to Ole Miss at the same time that one of our guys went to Ole Miss. Frank Crawford. He played safety.
Frank,
so
I know Frank.
They're probably yeah. His little son's balling. Frank, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram. Yeah, his little son went viral because he had like a Tyreek jersey on.
And he that's his son?
Yeah.
I saw that. I saw him. I didn't know that was his son.
Yeah, that's his son. His son's going crazy.
Oh, facts.
Shout out to Frank, little Frankie. Yeah, man. Was there more players that you were going to mention?
Yeah, no, it was definitely, man.
So how was practice with that roster?
Man, practice was intense. Like,
That's awesome.
and that's what I mean with iron sharpen iron.
Yeah.
Like, we had talent across the board. Like, you gonna put your best receiver out there. Guess what? We're gonna put our best corner out there. And guess what? They both 5-stars. So
Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
what you gonna do? It ain't. It's talking about the island.
And
Practice was amazing. It's like it's always was a day to get better. It was never no, man, I can't take this day off. Like you said, like one of my homeboys, it was taking stuff for granted. He ran the bubble screen, pow, smacked him. Now you want to fight me, but I'm here to make you better. I'm not gonna give you no.
I got to play off.
Right.
That's what someone's gonna do to you in a game. So that's what it has to be.
No, facts.
So I was always I try to tell younger players, like, your practice habits like are crucial in order for you to improve as a player. So in a practice, let's say you play receiver, you work on a certain release that you might not have done as well the day before, or that day you're gonna work on like hiding the numbers on your comebacks and curls, or have like some kind of purpose behind, or if you're a DB, work on like your press or your off, or like I used to have practices where I'm like, I can press, I felt pretty comfortable, but off I did not feel comfortable at all. I would make myself play off every single day and just work on off. And that made me better being uncomfortable,
Facts.
I think now coaches,
That's how I was actually.
Yeah.
So like I was great at press.
nice.
Like, being able to move my feet and moving lateral in my back pedal was not one of my strong suits at first. Like I was always a physical type, so being able to put my hands on you, and with high school, I could grab you, I could hit you, I could knock you out all the way up the field until the ball's thrown. So
Easy.
it's easy. Same thing with college. You do
Yeah.
the same thing in college as well, but
Yeah.
it was just like, but playing off, and it was like, man, I need to work on this.
Yeah.
Guess what? That's my favorite thing to do now.
Me too. Why are we up there? That's a young guy
That's
move.
my name.
I was
Like, I
like,
used to make my job hard. Got to chase this man from the line of scrimmage. If I lose that battle now, the foot race, so I'm just pay back.
yeah. That's good, man. I think practice habits are good. I hope you guys are listening in, man, and taking notes, because that's a great way to improve, man, for sure. Like, now, don't wait till the game to get better. The game's when you got to execute and be great, but practice is when you really work on your craft and
Facts.
work on your weaknesses. Don't be scared to look bad for a play or two. All right, so transitioning to, we didn't talk about college yet. So did you go on visits, or like what ended up
Yeah, I
happening
went
there?
on visit. So even before backtracking before that, I went and played for South Florida Express.
Okay.
South Florida Express is a
7-on-7.
It's a
right?
7-on-7 with all-star team. Basically, all the best players you compete against to make the roster. First off, and we couldn't get. That's how I met Teddy. That's
Okay.
how I met pretty much a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
That
They all went to
excelled.
Louisville?
Yeah,
Those guys? Okay.
Yeah, Teddy, me, Eli, my best friend Andrew. All us played on that South Florida Express.
Louisville looked at South Florida Express. They're like, yes. All of it.
Facts. That's kind of how it really was. It was like with them, with that team, we traveled. We traveled to play. Like, we played tournaments at USF, Alabama, Georgia. We went on visits to Florida State, Ole Miss, pretty much all the Southeastern Conference teams.
Nice.
Like, we went all the way up the East Coast. Like,
That's so cool, man.
that was our unofficial visits.
Right.
Now, as far as official visits, I only took 3.
Okay.
I went
with
to
all that bouncing around, you didn't need to.
Yeah, I ain't really need to. Like, I wanted to go to Oregon, but
They had
it's,
cool
you know,
uniforms.
they did. They had
The
those
chrome
crazy
helmets.
uniforms.
Woo.
I was big on like fashion, so
Yeah.
they were one of school, but it was just like, do I really want to go there? Like, that's really, really far.
Super far, coast to
And
coast.
then with them, they was more of a expense thing. Like, they don't want to. If they're recruiting from South Florida, like, that is expensive for them. Like, that's an expensive move for them. So, like, they got to know that you're fully committed.
Yeah.
To even take that step. Like, my close friend was committed to Coy Sumler. He was a track star. He ended up going out there, but as far as like the visit, I went with West Virginia, worst place ever. There's nothing there.
In the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. Like
A lot of schools are like that, man.
I got a few friends who went there, but it wasn't for me. Then my first day there, man, it was snowing, and then I had to fly to Cincinnati actually. So I flew into Cincinnati. So that's already one strike. I can't even fly to the state. Hold on.
Oh, wait a minute.
I got to go to Ohio. Then we got to drive. Oh nah. That was a strike. Then it was snowing. The first time seeing snow. Oh man. So it's warmed me up to Louisville because now I go on my visit to Ole Miss first. I would shout out to Coach Vaughn. He's with the Dallas Cowboys now. I'm one of the scouts there. He was there as like one of the coaches, defensive back coaches that would recruit me. I actually committed to them first. Okay. I was committed to Ole Miss, and him, Coach Houston, was the head coach at the time. Like I was settled going there. Like I had a blast. Jeff Scott was the running back. Okay. He went to Southridge.
Nice.
And Charles, there's a guy named Charles that was there from down south as well. They ended up getting fired. Oh, my senior year. So it was like, let me take a step back, reevaluate my recruiting process. So they went to another school. I'm not sure where they went from there, but it was like I got my Southfield Express team too. Like everybody, we're all gonna play together. Let's go to a school where we all can actually play. Right. UM was one of the schools at the time because like Teddy and Eli was already committed there. Mm-hmm. And it was like me and Andrew Johnson, we was just waiting for a scholarship. Yeah. At the time, Randy Shannon was the coach, but he never signed it. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, I'm already a U.S. Army All-American. I became a U.S. Army All-American my junior year. I committed to playing the game for my senior year.
Sick.
Once Randy Shannon got fired, he sent me Coach Al Golden. He sent me the scholarship, but by that time I already said I was going to commit during the game. And he just signed it like that week.
Yeah.
So I ended up taking him a visit to Louisville, and we all was there, and it was like, man, hey Teddy, y'all need to take this visit. Like this the spot. Like that roster, it was so depleted. It's like you can see all you can see is opportunity. Like people who there was no big names. Like you go to UM, you got all the quarterbacks. You got Jacory, you got Streeter, and you got all these big name people.
Like 5-star, 4 stars,
right? Right. You feel me? That's there. And it's like you go to Louisville natives.
Right.
So it's just like
me from Miami, you're like easy. If we're being real. If we're being real.
No, that's exactly how it is. And like even that year, a couple guys had already went up there. Like Michael Lee Harris went up there from Northwestern. So that was a big name that we knew that kind of led the way. Yeah. And then we had Corvin Lamb. Also was one of the guys that go up there. He's from Northwestern as well. Okay. So it's just like, man, we were going to go to LSU, but we not going to name no names. Uh-oh. One of the players got caught stealing.
Oh. What, on a visit?
It wasn't official, but it was during one of those visits where
off the books visits.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Yeah. What are you doing?
Like LSU was the spot actually. Like everybody had opportunities. Like Ole Miss, they had just got Jeremiah Masoli, so it kind of wasn't no smart decision for Teddy.
Yeah.
Who else?
Yeah, like at every school,
Alabama
it was like
had already.
Players.
They were.
Yeah.
They had depth at every position.
Yeah. But you're talking about something that's super, super important, guys. So I'll take a pause right there. So when you're trying to pick your school, like I didn't have anywhere near the same career Hot Rod had, so he had options. You know, you have to weigh out your options. Like take your time. A lot of people rush into making decisions for different reasons. Sometimes people get pressured. even if you have a great first visit, go to your second one, go to your third one. And even if you don't like it, just sit down and reevaluate, see what's best for you. And then he had a special situation because he went in with the mentality of where can I go to start? It's not about the nicest city. You know, that's a plus, obviously. You know, the social life, but where can I play right away? Because if you're really prioritizing your football career, like that should be like the biggest decision maker, you know? And then luckily you didn't have to go to somewhere like West Virginia where it's in the middle of nowhere. You got a best of both worlds, you know?
That's fact. I definitely could have played there early. That was one of the reasons why I took my visit.
Yeah. No, for sure. So when you got recruiting guys, like think about that. Like, look at the depth, like look at the roster, what year are they in, like all that stuff plays into account. The kind of system they run too. Depending on what position you play, like don't go to a wing T if you play receiver, you know? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
they run the ball 40 times a game.
That's what I'm saying. You know, like, and if you're like, I really liked a lot playing a 4-2-5 in college because I wasn't really. We played. Our team sucked. You know, like we were very mediocre. So all I knew was 4-3 and 3-4. I got to really expand my football mind a little bit in college. And 4-2-5, I love being the rover or the striker in a 4-2-5. That's my position, bro. Like, it's not. I mean, it is kind of like a nickel, but. Bro, you blitz, you play man, you do curl drop. Exactly. I love that position. Like, I like safety, don't get me wrong, but because of my stature, I'm more of a corner, you know, smaller. That position is probably in tackle my favorite position, bro. When they moved me there, I was like, bro, this is it. Like, I get to blitz and go back in the curl, you know. It was pretty cool.
That's where I excel, like playing free safety. Like being able to be back there. Obviously, I have the deep middle of the field most of the time, but that free range to be like, I don't really have a responsibility.
Yeah, that's a cool feeling.
Like knowing that I can do a lot of things. Like even my senior year, we transitioned to a cover 4. Like that, I fell in love with.
Yeah,
because I got help underneath. I only have a receiver, slot receiver, after 10 yards. If he doesn't push me 10 yards. I'm free. Like, it doesn't matter what I do from here. It's like, and that usually was a case where now I get to read the quarterback eyes type of situation. So, based on what you're saying, as far as the scheme, that definitely plays a part. Also, you want to go where the offensive schemes of other teams, because remember, you're not gonna get drafted off what you do in practice. Yeah. And practice just makes you better. Yep. You gotta go. You don't want to go to a conference where all they do is run the ball. If you're a guy who like to catch interceptions,
great point.
You feel me? So I'm free safety and I'm playing a team who ran the ball 60 times. How many chances do you think I'm gonna get it to catch an interception? So like the Big East was kind of big as far as that's what Louisville was in the Big East at the time when I ended up going there. Like we had teams like West Virginia, we had Stedman, Bailey, and all these guys. They spread the rock. You feel me? That was like a rivalry school. Like, and yeah, let me play against them.
Right. smart decisions. So, so you chose. Is there any other stories between there before I transition? Like how you chose Louisville or anything like that? Anything you want to cover?
Nah, that was pretty much it.
All right, so you chose Louisville, right? You got to play with you get to come with your boys to the same school. You got that. That's hard to do in itself, right, you know. So everyone got to go to the same school. So what's your mindset now, going to Louisville? Like, did you feel like it was an easy transition from high school ball, playing at that high level in high school, to going to college, or did you feel a transition?
For me, it kind of was easy, honestly. Okay. But at the same time, like, what messed me up, like I was telling you before in the beginning, my test scores didn't match my GPA. So I didn't get to go in with Teddy. They came in as the class of 11. I had to go to a prep school. So they went in and I went to Milford Academy. So
was that a military school?
Nah.
No? Okay.
It wasn't a military school, but it was all boys school.
Okay.
It's middle of nowhere.
It sounds familiar. I feel like I've heard of it.
Like, they got like military like preparations. Like
I thought so. It's one of those schools. Like,
it's not. But it's not like one of those schools where like you actually really. It's not. We have that, but
because some of those
it definitely was eye opening, and it helped me grow as a player. It's like
Yeah.
I'm in high school, I already got a big name. I led the country in interceptions.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I'm sad. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm going to school. I'm just drifting. I'm just cruising through school now. At this point,
Yeah.
sometimes I might not even go to class. Like
Same.
it was humbling to be okay. Well, you didn't make it. Like okay, now I gotta tighten up.
Yeah.
I go to this all boys school in the middle of nowhere in New York, upstate New York,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like all it is hills, skunks, and snow. So it's like now I'm getting my mind right, finishing school and stuff. Now, by the time I come into Louisville, we had a guy that was in my draft class as well. His name was Calvin Pryor. So I ended up coming in as a 4-star. We were both class of 11. I was a 4-star. He probably was maybe a 2 or 3-star at the time. Like the coach already told me, I'm coming in. I know you're gonna win this position. You got it. Let's go. Let's get here. I missed that year. He goes in that year. He wins the starting spot. Our other safety was a freshman All-American.
Wow.
So he had won his spot like 2 years before. He was solidified. Like
Yeah.
he's very reliable.
Yeah.
Like they don't have to worry about him. But he wasn't a big play guy. Like he wasn't gonna go out there and catch an interception or something like that. But if they break up, like if they break, he's gonna make the tackle. They know he was for sure. So they were content with that. So by the time I get in there, I'm behind Calvin Pryor, who was recruited underneath me. And now I'm looking up to him and I'm watching him, learning how he plays and molding my game, kind of like taking on some things that he's good at and adding to my game.
Yeah. Got to do that.
But now, because he's not doing bad, he has the spot. Like he played the whole year. It's no room for me to play.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a loss of a year for me. So but I ended up, when I went there, I did get a surgery. I had surgery on my shoulder, my left shoulder. I had tore my labrum in high school my junior year. Played through it my senior year.
Savage.
When I went to the prep school, it was more of I already know where I'm going, so I ain't really not gonna really take football serious. I'm more so worried about my academics.
Right.
So if we're up and we beating teams out, I was like, man, coach, put them in. I ain't trying to keep messing up my shoulder. trying to make it to Louisville, so where they gonna pay for it.
Right.
So by the time I get there, they pay for it. I get it. I try to battle out for the position, but Calvin, they were great. So it was no winning spot for them. Once they had got it, they didn't look back. So I had to wait my turn. After that, Calvin goes on to get drafted first round. Nice. So it's like now it's like we look at it, it's like, okay, well, that wait wasn't in vain. So it's not like I was sitting behind somebody
that wasn't as good as you.
Right. Like he was just as good as me, but we just had different talents. Mm-hmm. And we had different things that we said. Like he used to knock people helmets off, forced fumble. He was the forced fumble guy.
Nice.
I was the interception guy as far as practice wise.
Yeah.
Because I didn't never get to show it on the field until my last year. He actually got in trouble one time, and I got to start against Memphis. Okay. That was my first start. I played really well. I had a lot of tackles.
Were you nervous?
Drop an interception. Yep. So nervous. I dropped the interception, man.
Oh, that's not like you.
So I was like, oh man. That year, I just was nervous. Period, because I was a freshman and it was like playing. Speaking on what you're saying, does the game change? Like, it didn't change. Like everything felt the same, but the speed was a little faster.
Yeah,
that's the only difference. Like as far as like my knowledge for the game and the plays that teams running, like I guess it could be the prep up into the games, that kind of put me above, but the speed was definitely different.
Yeah,
those guys be rolling.
Yeah, those guys were moving, and then the line for me too. Like The speed was different for me as well, but just the size of the
linemen too.
Like
yeah, you're
crazy,
right.
bro.
Right. Nah, you're definitely right.
Because I'm sure like your team was nasty, so I'm sure you guys had
we had big linemen too.
But we didn't have a good team, so our team was whatever. We did not have nobody near that size. When I went to college, I was like, bro, where are these people made in? Like, where did you come from, bro?
No, facts.
So I want to touch on a specific part of your story there. A lot of people would have transferred in your shoes.
Trust me, it was in the book. It was in. I definitely was looking into my options. No, facts, because it's hard to it's hard to sit back, and when you know that, like, physically I was better than, like, I was stronger, I was faster.
Yeah.
He just was playing well.
Yeah,
like it's nothing that I could do, and I was stronger, faster than both of them.
Yeah.
That didn't matter. I led my team in interceptions in camp every year.
Wow.
So it's like, are we really competing for the spot, or are we just competing to make each other better?
Right.
Like, and they have their spot, and I just got to wait my turn.
And there's a difference. There's a difference.
My coach told me to my face, he was like, that I am the best safety. He told me to my face that I'm the best safety that on the team, but he can't put me in front of them if they're not messing up.
Yeah.
Like, they never gave reason to lose their spot.
That makes sense.
And when I sat down with him and we talked about it like that, it helped me understand more, because me coming up I'm very immature to it, because I never had to play behind anybody.
You've never experienced that in your life.
Exactly. Yeah. So I didn't know what to do. I'm panicking. I'm like, bro, I gotta go. Like, and I'm like, kind of like regret my decision, because when you gray shirt, you technically open up your recruiting back again. So really? Like, I don't really have to go to Louisville. Once I went to Milford Academy, I got a scholarship from Alabama. They recruited me from Milford Academy. They didn't never send a scholarship in high school. They recruited me, but they never sent me a scholarship. But that's because they had, at the time, they had not Landon Collins, Clinton Dix was in my class. He was the number one safety. I was ranked number 2. He was ranked number 1, and he was already committed as a junior to Alabama. So, like, that was kind of one of the reasons why I was like, oh, well, he got that. I'm gonna let him have Alabama.
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm like, man, they came back and they actually gave me a scholarship. I'm like, dang. But all my boys, they already at Louisville.
Already committed, yeah. That was the
like,
whole plan.
This was the plan. Like, I gotta stick to the plan.
Yeah.
I wanted to switch so bad, because I'm like, man, I could win a championship at the time, because I'm watching them play as well. Like, my friends who I'm supposed to be out there with, they went like 6-6, 6-7, something like that, just enough to get to a bowl game. They went to a bowl game, but it was like, bowl game, that's some championship.
A natty all the way.
So it's like,
that's tough. And also too, like, something I'm really jealous of your story is, I wish I could have gone to college. Like, I was with myself, so I didn't realize how much of an introvert I can be until I was by myself in college, bro. I didn't talk to nobody. I was homesick. I had a girlfriend at the time. Like, it was just so many things, and I wish I had friends to be with, to like, you know, just vibe with and just talk about home, and, you know, that's really cool. Like, to go with your friends.
Yeah, that definitely. And you guys are good. That helped me out too, because I was. If people didn't know me, like, I'm very competitive on the football aspect, but when I was out in public, like, I don't talk. I didn't really talk. It was more so I'm very observant. Like, I watch my surroundings. I don't really interact with my surroundings. I like to see what's going on, how everybody act, and what people like to do.
Definitely.
That was kind of me. And then until I get to know you, and then now we could joke, we could play, and all that stuff comes later.
Yeah, for sure. I get that. So we're friends. I get that side hard, right? So, senior year, what happens?
Senior year comes. I'm already committed to Louisville. Well, no, I'm already committed to Ole Miss. At the time, I know I got the.
Oh no, I meant like college. Like
college,
junior or senior.
How I get back to high school. So actually, after my freshman year, I only played like four games, and it was all special teams. My coaches then were telling me, "Oh, okay, well the player, I can't beat them out." I made the decision to do a medical red shirt.
Okay.
I did a medical red shirt after the gray shirt. Yep.
Okay.
And I just started going to therapy and the treatment, getting all the documentation to show that I'm doing rehab on my shoulder. At the end of that year, I got credited the year back.
Nice.
So I came back as a red shirt freshman.
As a school junior.
Right. I was a sophomore in school.
Okay.
My first year, and then that year that I actually played, where the dude got in trouble, that was technically my freshman year of football.
Okay.
So, but it was pretty much going to my junior year, because the grade level it went by pretty fast. I was already freaking had AA credits. But after that year, so I come in what ended up being my last year. I was a redshirt sophomore, and Teddy's gone. Coach Strong's gone. My whole coaching staff's gone.
Oh no!
So this is like, oh,
different look now.
Now, right, and now, we win the I believe it's the Russell Athletic Bowl, because my first year we won the Sugar Bowl, and then we went to the Russell Athletic Bowl. That's when we beat UM down in Orlando. Yeah, for the record, never lost to UM.
It's a little sprinkle there.
So I'm playing. I get into it with the head coach. Like, as far as like, he doesn't like my personality as a player, like, because I was quiet. I didn't really, but I had a mouthful of goals. And, you feel me? So it's like, I am who I am. He is who he is, and our energies didn't clash. And it's like, he hated me so much, he didn't want me to start. He went out his way to tell the defensive coordinator not to start me.
Wow.
Like, that's how bad a relationship we had. And it transitioned to my draft process. Like, he telling all the scouts that come in that, oh, he's not a team player. He has an attitude, like...
You know what's the issue with coaches that are like that? Some coaches misinterpret an introvert or a person that is not super social and yada yada as they don't care, or they're just a laid back person, bro. Right. You're gonna have different personalities coming into the locker room. You know, some coaches, I think, don't judge people correctly sometimes. You know what I mean? Facts.
That's what like, I was very nonchalant. Like, I didn't really take offense to much. Like, especially I got new coaches, I'm trying to fill everybody out. Right. Like, I don't really know y'all. The people who I came here for is gold. Yeah. So it's
like almost like a different chapter in the same book. You know, like, you're just a transition, even though you're still in the same school.
Facts,
you know.
So like with them, the cornerback, his name was Terrell Floyd. The Sugar Bowl man picked first player of the game, ran it back.
Nice.
The coach didn't like me so bad, they moved him from our starting corner position and put him in front of me at safety.
What?
Why you move our best cornerback from corner after our corners leave to just so that I don't start at safety? But my coach, the defensive coordinator, Coach Ty Grafton, shout out to him. He loved me so much. Like, he basically built the scheme around basically to put me on the field. Obviously, if a team come out and 3 tight ends set. It's nothing that he can do about it. But he based the nickel package and the dime package to where I'm on the field, because you got to put that extra DB out.
He's a G. That's awesome. Bro.
So that kind of helped me. That's the only reason why I was able to get put in the position that I was, is because of his scheme and him allowing me to be able to get on the field.
That's awesome.
Like my first game we played UM, I didn't start. I probably had about 7 snaps between the first and second quarter at the most, maybe, because they were kind of a pro-style offense. They had Duke Johnson back there, so they pretty much wanted to feed him the ball.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to get on the field here and there, but when we actually took the lead, it helped out because now they gotta bring in 10 personnel, 11 personnel. I ended up catching the pick last drive of the game.
Hey, it still counts.
Definitely. They were trying to score. I caught the interception to seal the game. And from there, I didn't look back. Like, it was pretty much a pick every game.
That's awesome, bro. So, talking about the picks. So, for those of you that don't know, my guy right here won the Jim Thorpe Award for best DB in the nation, which is extremely hard to do. To be the best at anything, it's really hard to do, and he did it at like really high level, the highest level. So, what would you say that was? Was that like a revenge tour for you after all the context you just gave us about everything that's been? It's coming up to like a boiling point, right? Like the gray shirt, the red shirt, your friends leave. Like you need to make it worth it at this point. You're like, bro, what am I doing this for? Like my friends are gone. Like, am I gonna make the best of this or what? I tore my labrum. I went to a fucking military school. Well, not military, whatever it is, and you went through a lot to get there, bro. So,
facts.
Is that the kind of mindset you were in? I'm assuming.
Yeah, it was. At the same time, I just took it day by day, honestly, because I still remember at the same. I still was a sophomore, technically football wise. So I still had
plenty of time, 2
more years, even if this year didn't go right. So mentally, me not starting, it didn't really affect me because me and my defensive coordinator we were on the same page as far as like finding ways to get me on the field, and once I started making plays, when I did have my chances, I could breathe now.
Yeah, you can exhale. You finally proved your worth,
Facts,
which is awesome.
But me making plays, it definitely was like. Now I look back at my coaches who I actually came out here to play for, like, yeah, this is what you missed out on.
Yeah. No, I'm sure.
Like that's the mentality that I had a point to prove, especially with that coaching staff.
Yeah.
And not really giving me the opportunity to make those plays that I can now. That definitely is sat in the back of my head. But
the best feeling in the world.
Definitely. But definitely by taking it day by day, I had Coach Terrell Buckley was our cornerbacks coach, and he went to Florida State. He was one of the top cornerbacks in the world. And he told me something that I never forgot. To excel, find that one play that the offense loved to run, and you key on it. So like I took that into every week. Every week we obviously they got teams have a lot of plays where that they're comfortable with, but when it's crunch time, okay, you got to get a feel. Okay, this the plays they like to run. This the person they like to throw it to. This the tendencies they like to do. That lead up into running this play, like stuff like that. I took it into every single game, and pretty much half of the picks that I caught were because I'm like, okay, they're coming back to this.
That's football IQ, man. Like there's some people that don't understand the game at that level, and they think that you're just out there being an athlete, which sometimes you do make plays because you reacted well and you had good footing, whatever.
Yeah, tips, overthrows, all those.
I think especially defensively, the best players ever in football most of them had a really good football IQ, especially DBs.
Mental.
Like
Mental.
Ed Reed was something else mentally. Like people, he wasn't just, he was a freak athlete, sure.
No, definitely.
Sean Taylor too, but like Ed Reed used to trick Peyton Manning. Like he would play mind games with people, bro. Like you need to be like pretty smart to do that, So that's cool that with your success, like you took a hand in it with your like that feels pretty good. You know what I'm saying? That you caused that reaction to happen. You kind of like manipulated the quarterback. So if you're a DB that catches a pick, you know exactly what we're talking about. It's a really good feeling.
It's like when you're at corner and you know you got the flats. I'm not gonna stand at the 5-yard line, at 5 yards off. Where everybody knows you playing corners for just for example, corner cover 2, 5 yards. You flat footed. You want to make sure the receiver goes inside. That's what the quarterback is looking for. Like where pre-snap reads, he's trying to figure out your alignment, where you at, what it's looking like. Obviously, you see 2 high safety, the corners at 5 yards. That tells him cover 2.
Right.
You feel me? That's what I tell my corners. I'm like, hey yo, go to 7, go to 8. Line up at 7 or 8. I'm gonna line up in the middle of the field, and I'm gonna tell my other safety to roll down. Or I'll have him back, and I'll roll down, and make it harder for me because I know I got to haul ass to get back. Yeah. But I'm gonna put it in a position where, okay, well, make sure you jump that out now. Yeah, I'm here, but I'm finna haul ass. They see me running. Oh, he think he got it. Cornerback shoot it. It's stuff like that that also helped as well. So it's like my DBs, my corners, my other safety, we all caught interceptions, and it's all because we was all on the same page. Like I used to tell my corner, hey bro, they had bunch. Jump the out route. Jump whoever goes out. I got you over top. I might be, we're in cover 4. I got a tight end. I know he not running deep. I'm like, bro, play back. I got you underneath. I'll take the short. Or sometimes, hey, yo, I'm in the middle of the field. I know I got deep middle. I know the cornerback got cover 3, but he got deep third. But hey, listen, you can play hard on that curl. You can sit on that hitch. You can sit on that out.
Listen, when I have a teammate that watches film and he tells me, "Hey, do this," because he has a feeling, I'm listening to that.
Feel me? Like that's the type of communication that I used to have with my corners during the game.
That's awesome. Right. That's awesome, bro. So, before we wrap this up, man. So how did? Because I don't even know this about you, and we've been friends for years. So how did football end for you? Like how did it go from college to pro, or like what happened?
So after college, after I won the jump Thorpe, I decided to enter the draft.
Okay.
From there, I get drafted by Pittsburgh Steelers in the 7th round. I fell to the 7th round.
Okay. Just crazy.
Right. It's the first time I believe it's ever happened. Jumped aboard when they're going that low. It was mind blowing. It was like it kind of made me like regret my decision.
Wait, but before you said the coach was doing stuff though, right?
Yeah, the coach was saying that, oh, he's not a team player. This is coming from the scouts.
Yeah,
they're telling my agent's telling me.
Yeah,
they say he's not a team player. He's and all this bad stuff.
That had to be that.
But you asked me to come back.
Yeah.
Before I entered the draft, you asked me to come back. Why you want a kid here that's not good? That's detrimental to your team. I think that kind of escalated into telling the scouts that I'm not a team player.
Yeah.
Because he knew I was going to leave. But at the same time, I didn't have nothing to come back for. I could have came back and got more tackles, but right. My team was great. Like I had 2 linebackers with over 100 tackles. I had a safety with 105 tackles. How many tackles you want? It was free safety to have.
And I think for you, bro, it was your coming out party, man. Like you were an All-American. You know what I'm saying? So for you to be not playing,
All-American, first team, that's what I'm saying. Conference, got the record, got the jump Thorpe.
Yeah, like what do you want to stay for?
It's a no-brainer.
What if you get hurt?
I don't like my coach.
Yeah, like there's no your friends left.
All my friends leaving this year as well. The ones who came in, my 2011 class. This their senior year.
Yeah, it just makes sense. Like you caught up to them in 1 year.
Right, exactly. So it's like, I might as well leave with them.
Yeah,
but I get drafted to Pittsburgh. Unfortunately, that time there was like mismanaged on the defensive coordinator. I don't want to say defensive coordinator, but like the defensive back coach. He never really gave me a chance. I never really even I never started not one preseason game. I pretty much, the playing time that I had probably was equivalent to a first half of a game if I was a starter.
Oh,
Like that's how bad it was. Like I was getting in the game with 5 minutes left, and the team already beating us. It's preseason.
Yeah, and
They
preseason
just gonna run the ball.
Yeah,
Like,
preseason is the time for everyone to play.
Exactly, but we didn't have no real starters. And we were still trying to find our identity, and so the guys who were starters were pretty much special team players from the year before.
Yeah.
So they was getting their reps in, but this is every game. Like y'all, you let them play every game. And we had 5 preseason games. We played in
Plenty of
the Hall of Fame game was our first game.
Damn.
And fast forward to the last preseason game, it was more of a Mike Tomlin said, everybody that's on this team, like young guys who the draftees, the only way you're gonna make this team is if you make plays on special teams. 21 of the 22 starters came back off special teams from last year.
Wow.
The captain of the special teams was in front of me at safety. Like, what can I do? I came in as a draft pick, and I was 15 depth chart at safety, behind guys that were smaller, shorter, slower, and they used them at like nickel and corner. You put your nickel and corner in front of me at safety.
But I don't.
Like they were getting all the reps. Mind you, in the NFL, you only practice first and second team.
Yeah.
You're lucky if third team is lucky if they get a rep.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Fourth team and 15, bro. It was practices where I didn't even break a sweat.
Oh.
Like the most sweat I did was warming up.
Damn.
Before practice.
Yeah.
In like individual drills. That was all the work that I was getting. Sitting on the sideline just watching everybody else practice.
You would think like, bro, like look at your resume.
You feel me?
Can't give that guy a chance? Like, not even like a game? Like let him start a game?
We did a little scrimmage. I came up, made big hit. I had some PBUs, stuff like that. I did good on one-on-one stuff, but you would think even with that, like I get the opportunity to play a little bit.
Right.
But the only thing the coach could tell me at the end of the day was he's sorry. He's sorry for mismanaging like my playing time and stuff like that. I'm just like, bro, this is
what I'm trying to hear.
I definitely don't want to hear this because this my life you playing with. Like you mismanage the playing time, bro. I'm your draft pick first off.
Yeah.
I was the only draft pick at safety.
How do you not play? I'm just.
But a lot of people don't know that though. A lot of people know, they just look at it like, especially when you're looking at from an other team standpoint, they looking at it like, well, you got Mike Tomlin as your coach. He's the most known player to coach. Like he has the best player to coach relationship. How does it not work with him? We didn't have that relationship.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I get released after the preseason, and I ended up going to Louisville. And my last bowl game, I had my daughter, my first daughter. Okay. So she was from Louisville. Okay. Like her mom was from Louisville, and so I went back there, and I obviously got my school. I go back and hang with them, and still keep training with the football team, stuff like that. I ended up getting a call late in the year from Coach Lovie Smith. Okay. Lovie Smith was at Tampa Bay at the time, and he brought me in for a workout. Well, even before that, my defensive line coach from Louisville, his name was Coach Clint Hurt. He ended up leaving with the Coach Strong situation, but he moved up to the NFL. He was with Chicago Bears. He got me a workout with Chicago. I did a workout with Chicago, and everything went great. He told me that they're going to sign me on a future contract. Basically, a future contract is after the season, I get to come in the training camp with them next season.
Okay.
So I was going to do that, and before I could do that, I got a call from Coach Lovie Smith, and he brought me in for a workout. And they ended up signing me to practice squad right after the workout.
Okay.
So I was on practice squad with them for the rest of that season, and then into the off season, he got fired.
Oh my God.
He got fired. Once he got fired, the offensive coordinator became the head coach, and he released everybody. The reason that I never even got a chance to do an exit interview. Like we never talked. They didn't explain to me why you cutting me. Nothing. Like I never did anything wrong. No nothing.
Right.
Didn't even speak to me at the exit interview. All they did was ask for the playbook.
That's wild, bro.
Like, and it was just crazy.
Especially when you're offense and that's defense, you have no, like, they have some knowledge, but it's not even like your expertise. You know what I mean? Like on paper.
Facts. Bro, they told me they needed the roster space for the draft. That year they drafted the kicker 3rd round.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
Bro, they drafted the kicker, and then I believe they ended up drafting a safety as well. Yeah. And he's more of a return. He was like a returner for them. But like, damn, bro, y'all didn't even give me a chance.
Yeah.
They brought somebody else in,
right,
to do something that I could have been doing.
I hear you. So
from there, after I left there, I got introduced to arena ball. Played arena ball in North Carolina, 2016 or 18. No, it was 18. I played arena in the North Carolina and Boone with the High Country Grizzlies.
That's funny. That's a funny name.
Yeah, their team is on Appalachian State campus. So that was my first year playing arena ball. It was crazy. And after that, I went to play with Jim Jones' team, the West Virginia Rough Riders.
Okay.
I played there, and then I transitioned back to Louisville. Louisville had started a team, but then COVID hit. Oh. So that season I missed the season.
Yeah, COVID killed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, killed it all. So I sat out. Then I came back. They tried to bring the team back again, and then the season kind of folded after like the 5th game. So from there, it was just more, all right, I don't really know what to do. So I kind of was taking a year off, chilling, and then about last year, 2 years ago, I ended up getting picked up during the season by South Dakota. Not South Dakota, North Dakota. Bismarck. Okay. The Bucks. I played with them. I led the team in interceptions for the time that I was there, but then I started working. I had did interviews with the county, with Miami-Dade County. It took about 2 years. They finally had brought me in for an interview, and then they told me that I got the job while I was up there in North Dakota.
Super far.
So it's just like, all right, I'm trying to weigh my options now. I really want to play football, but at the same time, I got to make a living. So I can't miss this opportunity because it took 2 years for me to get it.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to take the job. I left from football, and like XFL had came back as soon as I take the job. So I'm like, okay, well, then my coaches from Louisville, Terrell Buckley and Lamar Thomas, they took the Orlando team in the XFL. So I'm like, okay, well, I got a high chance. I'm familiar with the coaches. They were on my team when I won the award.
Right.
I go do the workout with them. They didn't draft me. So it was like, all right, well, if my own coaches from my season,
right,
if they don't pick me out there, I definitely don't got a shot. Who would give me a chance if my own coaches from when I excelled in college wouldn't give me a chance? So I kind of pretty much said, all right, I'm just gonna fall back from playing football.
Yeah, man. Like we'll finish it off here in a little bit. Something people ask me about tackle a lot. I rarely talk about it because it wasn't a good experience for me, you know,
Mm.
like similar to your situation, just nowhere near as high at the level, Division II, stuff like that. Um, I dealt with, you know, butting heads with a coach. He moved my position to another position when he became the head coach. So I can understand the stuff you went through. So I always tell people like football didn't love me back. Like I love football to death, man, to this day. But for tackle football, I just didn't, for whatever reason, bro. Like I just don't know what it is. It just didn't play out like that, you know? So that's kind of the purpose of this podcast, is to explain to people that the higher you go, there's different variables to a sport, soccer, football, whatever. When there's more money involved, it's just the way it is. Like people make decisions that gonna be out of your control sometimes. An injury happens, whatever, bro. Crazy circumstances. But what matters is, you know, like you get your education, you know, you make the best of the situation for yourself. You get a scholarship, you set yourself up for the best future possible. Like, yeah, like the sport is like what you're there for, but also, you know, set yourself up in other ways as well. So the purpose of this podcast is to educate like younger parents or parents with younger kids. Like, look, this is what, if you want your kid to do this, this is what it's going to be like, you know? So I try to bring people in here so they can learn about the great stuff that you did and to copy you, and then maybe learn from like our experience, our negative experiences, and be like, all right, look, if that ever happens, we can do this. And because I heard that episode with Hot Rod and Lulu, you know, so that's kind of the purpose of it, man. So I appreciate you coming on. So before we head out, I always ask this question, see what you think. If you can speak to your younger self, what would be like a piece of advice you would give to younger Hot Rod?
I would say stay in school one more year to finish my degree, because that's kind of like what I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm back in school to finish, to get my degree right now.
Okay.
Like, it's a benefit as far as if I trying to take my coaching career to the next level. Like I can go on to GA for Louisville, but I don't have a degree, so I got to finish that.
Okay.
Or also with working for the county, so I could move up into the county, but I gotta have a degree.
I hear you.
So to make more money, need more education.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I say. Take school seriously. Like get that degree, especially if you're on scholarship. It's right there. It's free.
Right.
Take it.
Yeah, man. I went to school for one more semester to finish my degree too. I'm like, you know what? I'm already here at the finish line. Let me just do it just to get it done. You know.
Facts.
So I appreciate you coming in, man. Being a friend of yours for years, I didn't know any of these stories, so it's cool to get to know you on a more personal level, especially with football. That's like our first baby, you know. We love football. So if you guys enjoyed it, man, please share. If you learned anything, share. Send it to parents, coaches, whatever, man. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Take notes, all right? Stay tuned for the next episode.